Ladies and gentlemen, we have menu modules. If you ever wanted to design a menu that is really custom, well, we are almost there. And this is really exciting news. Divi 5 now gives us the ability to design our menus the way we want. So if you were to come over here and select your columns, in your modules, you're going to notice that you now have the drop down and you also have the link. So these are the two building blocks that will allow us to build our menu. So let's start off by adding this link. So by doing that, you can see here I have that text link. I can rename it. So I'm going to call this link A, for example. Okay. And I can do a few things to it. I can add an icon next to it by coming over here, but of course we're not adding an icon yet. But just to show you the flexibility that we have with this, it is really amazing. Okay, so with this link now, if I go over here to elements, I can see my link and I can duplicate this a few times. Okay, so now I have a link A. Okay, I have all those links, so I can just go in and rename it. So this one here is going to be link B. And then I'm going to do a C and D. Then I'm just going to click on this one here and change this to D. Okay, so far so good. But at this stage, you're going to say, but what if I want it horizontal? That's how normally menus look like. Well, check this out. If I come over here and choose row settings, I can now go to my elements and then go into my column and then change my row direction in Flexbox to then show that things are now horizontal. So at the moment, here's the direction. It's facing down. We want it sideways. So boom, just like that. Now my links are next to each other. But at this stage, we can see that they're not linking to anything. And I'll prove that to you. I'm going to hit save. And then I'm going to open this tab and refresh. Okay, so if I hover over it, I mean, it's not clicking anything. This is just a link, but it's not linked to anything. So this is where now you don't want to go in and manually link it to wherever you want. So let's start off with link D. Okay, so I've got that selected now. I'm going to come over here to content, text. So here's link D. So if I want to connect this to a page on my website, I will click here where it says insert dynamic content, and I'm going to say page link. Okay. And then now it's asking for the page title. So this can be a custom page. And then you can add your custom link here. So let's say it's external. Perhaps you want to send it to google.com, for example. This is where you'd add your custom link. Okay. But we're not doing that. We want to target something that is on our website. Okay. So if you wanted to do that, what you do is you come over here to link. Okay, it's very important you do that. You go to link URL, and then you click on this little icon here. And this is where you can go and choose a specific page. So there's current page link, there's home page link, there's a page link. So I can just select this one here. Okay, and with that selected, on the top here, I can click on this drop down and then choose the specific page that I want to link to. So let's say, for example, I want that to be a pricing table. So I'm going to say pricing table, hit apply. And I may want to change this now from link D to pricing so that at least it doesn't get very confusing. So with that now, I can go ahead and save. Now let's test and see if this is going to work. I'm going to refresh this page now. And if I hover over here, you can see now I have a link, whereas before here I didn't have anything. And if I click on there, boom, it now takes me to the pricing page, which is really cool. Of course, I know you at this stage you're saying, but Mac, this is too manual. Why do we have to do this manually? You know, it's just too much work. Well, I have another solution for you. I think they really thought this through. I'm going to come over here now. Now, this only applies if you have an existing menu. Okay. If you create your menu in WordPress, then this is where it's going to apply. So let's do the same thing. I'm going to come over here to link. This time, I'm going to select this link, but I want to loop my menu that already exists. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to loop, and then I'm going to activate loop. And by default, it's saying posts, right? We don't want that. So we're going to get rid of that. Okay, so we want our menu. So I'm going to come over here So sometimes you can make a mistake of just searching over here. This is not where you need to search. You need to come to post type. Okay. And now I have the ability to choose menu. So I'm going to say menu. And you're going to notice now that we have these 3 links. Okay. So with menu now selected, we're not done yet. Over here now on the text link, if we click on dynamic content, we can now say loop menu text. So this is what's going to bring everything together. And if I hit apply, now you can see that I have my pages: home, dashboard, and blog. So like what I did before, I want to go in and make sure that everything is horizontal and facing the right direction. So I'm going to go to column, design, and then for the layout here, change direction. Okay, so now do you see the difference between the two? The first one, I went in and I did everything manually. And then on the second one here, I used the loop. Okay, so if you're wondering where this came from, home, dashboard, blog. Okay, so this is the normal menu that you normally get. Okay, this one here, home, dashboard, and blog. Okay, this is what we have here as well. Now, if you want to see exactly where this is, let me show you, because I don't want you to get lost in this tutorial. So I'm going to go to appearance and then menus. Okay, so this is the main menu that I connected with the loop, and home, dashboard, blog is this home, dashboard, blog. Okay, now what I noticed when I was playing around with this is this blog item here. If I add it as a sub menu, it doesn't really show as a sub menu. It just shows pretty much as 3 pages. Okay, so the sub menu does not work with the loop. Maybe this is something that's going to be fixed later on. So right now I've just removed the sub menu because of course it's not working. Okay, so we have a pricing page, we have a link, and we can also create this. Now, I want to do something also very, very interesting. I want to come over here to link C, right? And add a drop down. Okay, so I have link C selected. Okay. And if I come over here to content, text, I can see it's link C. Okay. So what you need to do next, if you want to add a drop down, is to go to elements. Okay. Add elements. And then this is where we add our drop down, and you can see that black square has been added. Okay, so with that drop down, the drop down right now, as you can see, it's asking for my menu URL and so on. And with my drop down selected, now it's very important. Now it's a bit tricky because I've been getting it wrong all the time. But you see, with this drop down selected, which is this black item here, you want to add an element inside the drop down, okay? Because the drop down is just a holder for your content. So you need to add things inside that drop down, okay? So let's go ahead and add a link. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Boom. Now it's saying text link. Do you see that? Which is right here. So now I'm going to say D link A for drop down link A, okay? I can further customize this if I want. I can go in and link it to pretty much wherever I want. So here's the link URL. I can link it to an external page if I want to. And over here, we also have dynamic content. It can be a post link. It can be a page link. It can be a media link, project, and so on. Okay, but we're not going to spend too much time on that. You can see easily that we have our link A, okay, which is really good. So over here on our elements, we can pretty much add any element we want over here. So I'm going to go back in and select that. And just to show you that I can add a few, I'm going to duplicate this a few times. Okay. So let's go in and rename that. Oops. So that's link B. Okay. And then the other one is link D. A, B. Okay. No, this one is C. Okay. So I can see what is happening here is this one here on the bottom is causing us problems because it's in the way. Let's get rid of it. Okay. All right. So now that we have this, I want to go back to the drop down. So you want to go in, click the drop down, and I want to show you some extra features. Okay. Because when I saw this, I was like, man, everything is so static. It's so annoying. But when I came over here to the to the elements, to the link, you see there's a lot of settings we can do here. We can go and change the background because right now I think it's a bit too much. So let's add something a bit light. How about that? Okay, it's a bit light. So that is where you can go in and change that. So we also have our loop here, which can work fine. And then over here on the design, if we go to the layout, we have everything that we need here in terms of our flex box. We can set this to start and so on. Okay, so there is quite a lot to go in and fix. But what I found very exciting is the drop down. You see, you have to be in the design and then drop down. So on this drop down now, we can set it as floating or inline. Okay, there's the two, so it can be inline or it can be floating. So there's a difference there. Show drop down on hover. Okay, so we can want to perhaps maybe do it on click, right? So I think I prefer click. Right, so drop down direction below. I don't know why you would have it above though. That will never work. Okay, but anyway, the option is there. We also have left, we also have right, but you know what, let's keep it below. I think that's the sensible thing to do. We also have our offsets, which you can go in and fix. Now with me now, I would like to go in and set this to a clamp value. I wouldn't go in and do the pixels. I don't like pixels, but anyway, for now, I think we can work with this. So far so good. Let's save and let's do a quick preview. Oops. By coming over here to the preview and preview on front end. Okay, so where was it? Was it on C? Yes, it was on C. Do you see that? But if there's nothing to show us that there's a drop down, it can be a problem. I'm sure you can agree with me. So it's there. We can see the drop down is right there, which is fantastic. But we want some sort of an indicator that there is something there. So let's go to C, right? Making sure we select it. Oops. All right, so I have C selected, but you know what? To do something different here, I need to add an icon to it. So I'm gonna come over here to icon and I want something pointing down like this little icon here. But you see, it is really big, right? So we need to reduce the size. So I'm gonna come over here to design, icon, and then on the icon size, let's start with, let's say 8 pixels. So I can't really see what is happening. Oh, there it is up there. It is so tiny, right? So let's increase it. Do you see it coming up now? So I think we can go with 20, maybe even 22. All right, so we got 22. So the reason why we have this icon here, the text is hiding behind this drop down. So we need to change the layout. So I'm gonna come over here. So I noticed that I have to click it once and then click it again. And now you can see that it is next to it, right? But we want that little down arrow to be on the right side of link C, right? You see that? So what you need to do is to reverse this. You see that? And now we are talking. So the next thing we need to do now is to reduce the size. So this little icon is closer. In fact, I always use the wrong one here. Okay, so let's go with 6 pixels there, right? So now we have an indicator, right? So what we could also do while we're on the link is to come over here and go to hover, okay? So on the hover, the icon, we can change the color, right? Change the color of the icon. We're gonna go with that on hover, right? But of course the text can also be changed to hover on the text. But you know what? I'm going to do a full tutorial later. And by the way, if you want to learn how to design your websites with the brand new Divi 5, I have a course called the Divi 5 Mastery Course. So head over to diviuniversity.com. It's free to join. You can join this community. It's a community of Divi users. I mean, there's a lot going on there. Go ahead. There's, more than 1,000 Divi 5 users. But anyway, we're here because I want to show you the courses. So the course here is the DV5 Mastery course. It has 1,178 students. This course will teach you how DV5 works. Forget what you know about DV4. DV5 is totally new. It's been built from the ground up and it comes with a learning curve. So this course will get you up and running super fast. And believe it or not, this course is only $27. Yes, $27. That's it. The link to that will be in the video description below. And once you pay $27, I will not increase the price when I add new modules. As you can see, Divi is adding so many things to DV5. So I will be teaching you all these things in the DV5 Mastery course. So head over there. The link to that is in the video description below. All right, so I think things are looking much better. Let's go ahead and save. And then now, if I refresh this, we should have that little indicator. Can you see there? Now, when you hover over it, it looks really nice. Boom. And now we have our link, right? And this one here is our pricing page, as you know, which is fantastic. So I guess the question now is, but Mac, how do we do a mega menu? Because, you know, ideally that's what would work here. You know, yes, we've done this, no problem, right? We can customize the colors, we can add the hovers and all of that. But what about a mega menu? Let's try and attempt to do that. But what are we going to put in the mega menu? Well, we just have to sort of like be creative with this. So let's head over now to link B. Okay, as you can see, it's hard to click. So what I'm going to do is come over here. I think this is link B. So I'm going to select it here. Okay. So with that selected, let's just go back to the front end by disabling this. And then what I'm going to do, no. We're still on the same item, aren't we? Okay. Okay, let's do that. We're going to click on settings. Okay. So with this now, we're going to do something a bit different. Okay. Of course, we're going to add our drop down. Okay, so we're going to come over here to content, elements. No, something is happening here. You know what? It's not selecting this item. You see? Oh, now it's done. Okay, no problem. Let's do it on link B. On the elements here, let's add a drop down. Okay, and then in this drop down, we are going to do something totally different. Okay, we are going to add a group. Okay, and then in that group, we are going to add two items. So what can these two items be? What can they be? I'm just thinking here. It can be an image and a form, maybe. Okay, let's do an image. So let's go back to the front end here. Right, so we have an image. I'm going to select that. And after this image, I also want to add something else. So let's go back to the group settings here. Okay, so there we go. We have our image. And what else can we add? Can we add a form? Okay, let's add an element. Perhaps maybe we could add a form or just something just to show that we can do the mega menu. Okay, so let's look for a form. Oh, it's up here, contact form. Okay, so we have a contact form and we have an image. So in that image here, we're going to add that image, upload image. Okay, I know it's really big. Okay, so we need to adjust its size. So we're going to go into sizing. So instead of auto, let's set this to 50% and then hit enter. All right, so let's go back and make sure that our group settings is selected. Go to layout and we're going to change the orientation here. Okay, so it's going to be side by side. Okay, so now that we have those two side by side, let's just go back into our image here and make it even smaller because it is really too big. So let's go into sizing. Okay, now do you see now everything is coming into frame? So that's going to be, okay, let's start with 14%. And for this form, we're going to do the same. We're going to go to sizing. Instead of auto, we're going to reduce the size. Yeah, so let's go with 14 as well. Okay, so let's say for now, because we do not want to lose anything here. So at this stage, you know, this group here, in fact, the drop down, it has a maximum width of 80 VW. Do you see that? Now that can be a bit too much. Okay, so you need to adjust this. So let me see what things look like at the moment. I'm going to refresh this. And do you see that? When I hover over B, now we have our mega menu. But I don't like the fact that when I hover away, it disappears. I prefer the clicking. You see, when you click, it stays on. So that's what we need to do over here as well. So, and right now, let me disable X-ray mode. You know, I wish these could just go away while I'm designing, because you can see it's in the way of what I'm trying to do, and it's quite frustrating. But anyway, this is what we have for now, so we just have to go with what we have. So I need to locate the drop down. Okay, so for the width here, it's saying maximum content max. No, I don't want that. Now I'm not getting like the proper feedback when I make changes to this. Perhaps maybe this is something that it's something that they're still working on. Okay, so I need to locate the drop down. So let's see, where is it? The contact form image. Okay, let's go to the column. Okay, so let's try it over here. Here's the drop down. So I need to locate the drop down. So here we have our drop down, and I need to change the background color. So I'm going to come over here, make it light. Okay, so that's much better. In fact, maybe slightly darker. How about that? So we're going to go with 600. Okay, now this is just for me to see where things are and how we can create this drop down. So now that I have this, all I have to do is to go into design and drop down. And I want this to be activated on click, like that. Okay, so if I save this, come over here, refresh, and then when I go on to B, you see that? Okay, so this is below, my footer content. So to fix that, what I need to do is to make sure that on my position here, it is above everything. Hopefully that's gonna work. Let's refresh. Okay, so I need to play with the Z index and make sure that this is behind, but I'm sure you can see that this is very, very cool. I can go in and let's get rid of this one here. And if I go in, it becomes a mess. Now, do you see how if I try to add any elements here, it's pretty much in the way. And I think this is something that needs to be updated in the builder, because it just gets too messy if I want to do this. But ideally, this menu here should not be done on your normal page. You would need to go into this area here. You'd go over here to, let's go to dashboard, Divi, and then you want to go to the theme builder. All right. And then you build it over here. Now, remember, this is how we did it before. So you would need to come in here and build it in here so that it doesn't interfere with any of your page content. So that would be what you need to do in order for this, in order for us to have a really nice, clear way of designing our menu. But you know what? First impressions, this is super impressive. I love this. And from what Nick says in the video, when he released this, he said these are the beginnings of this menu builder. So it means we're going to be expecting even more features coming along. This is super impressive. I really like this. In fact, I am going to pretty much build on this. In fact, I've already started working on a few things. You're going to notice that if I go in here, right? So let's say I select this pricing, I have presets for it. So for example, if I go in and say, okay, this one here is K-Link Dark. Do you see the pricing has changed? I can even make it uppercase. You see that? But you see, not only does it work like that, if I save and refresh, it has everything. It has the hover. So if I hover over here, you can see it's hovering with our secondary color, which is fantastic. And ideally, this is what you want when you have a menu that works, because this now mimics, the old menu. So instead of you doing all these things manually, everything is done for you. So for example, I can go in here for this one here. I'm going to say dark uppercase. And if I save that, our menu now is starting to transform. Look at that. You see that? And then if I click, here are our links. If I had the hover, that would work. And then over here, we have our mega menu. I mean, this is super exciting, guys. Super exciting. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments box below. And if you haven't purchased Divi, please consider doing so using my affiliate link. It's going to be in the video description below. And I also have a design system that makes the designing of websites much, much easier. Head over to all the links in the video description below. Until next time, see you soon. Take care.